let's bring Daniel out and let him tell yourself. Hi, Daniel. How are you?
Hey Margaret, how you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good,
Okay.
excellent. Okay, great. Yes. Really
Well,
lovely to be here.
thank you so much. Welcome to be here. Daniel, please tell our listeners out there all over the world, who are you?
Okay, so my name's Daniel Dzikowski and I specifically speak about letting go. And what does that mean to let go? That means to let go of the stuck emotions that are inside of us that could be blocking a more harmonious existence, a better, fresh, newer perspective on life. And I literally work with people one on one, one to many, and
Mhm.
help them literally let go of this energy. And when they do, they find that certain things in their life begin to change.
Mhm.
And when you invited me to speak on this show, it was something that for me I thought would be absolutely perfect for men that are struggling being fathers. I know quite a few men who have had, let's say, for example, relationships that have split. They've had children in their relationships, and for some reason, the parent, the mother, has decided to stop, visiting rights to these fathers.
And
And yeah,
And we have a lot of that happen, isn't it? What are some of the struggles that the single fathers are going out there? Because of the whole thing about the talk show is really reaching out there. So, what are the struggle some of the single fathers are going out there, and what's happening, and how could they go and get help, support, and also tell us what you think, please. Go.
yeah. So ultimately, I think some of the struggles are literally is there's a lot of good fathers there, really genuine people, and they're kind, they're considerate, and when they're with their children, they love them so much. And but what's happened is that the relationship with the partner has, run its course. It's dissolved. It's no longer, sustainable.
Mm-hmm,
And because often both parties don't let go of that anger towards the other, what
mm-hmm,
tends to happen is that um, a lot of the time the female in the relationship will say, well, actually, because I still haven't let go either, I'm still angry at my ex. They use the child against them. They use the child to try and hurt uh, the man in the relationship, and this is very damaging. Um, they prevent visitation rights. They may unconsciously or sometimes consciously say negative things about the father, saying perhaps the father doesn't want to see them, which is often completely false. And sometimes, I'm going to be open up, put my hands up and say, sometimes it is true. Perhaps the child, the father is so disconnected that they're not able to see the child. But often this is not the case. What really happens is, so many good fathers are prevented from seeing their child because of the anger that is still present within the woman and also within the man as well. There's two sides to the equation. Does that make sense? Oh, hold on,
exactly.
you're on mute. Yeah.
Sorry, it does make sense because I've been working with single fathers for the last 10 years, and a lot of these things you're talking about comes up time and time again, where the women are holding up to the children that the father can't see them. I mean, I was speaking to one father quite a while back, and where he shares with me, and that really took me back, that he used to cry going to work
Mm,
because he
mm.
couldn't see his children, and he goes home and he's crying. And that kind of broke my heart because this is a man truly opening up to all this. Now, can you tell us, how can the men move on to let go to become a better father and also to have access to their children?
Okay, so there's a really deep understanding to this that we have to take on board, and we have to reverse what we are really, the way we've been conditioned to think. And part of that is to understand that what is actually happening is happening to help us, yeah, at some level. But we have to see, how could it possibly be that not being able to see my child is actually designed to help me in some way? How is that going to help me? It's just going to create disconnection. So the way I see it is that when something happens, like we're prevented from seeing someone, you were prevented from seeing our child, or, you know, bad things are said about the man, then that brings up certain emotions. That brings up anger. It may bring up frustration. And these emotions are often the gateway to the resolution of the issue. So, for example, as anger comes up about the situation, about what is happening, if a choice of love is made, a choice of acceptance, then that anger can be processed, that anger can be let go of. However, if we instead start to continue to be carried along by this anger, what happens is we're stuck in blame. The cycle continues and we cannot fully let go. So we have to make the choice to drop blame. And, you know, the previous speaker as well, she said this as well. We have to drop the blame and learn to forgive. As we make that choice, everything that is blocking that connection comes up. And when we truly say, okay, I'm going to choose to love instead of hate, and I'm going to keep making that choice no matter what, then what will happen is we will end up being in that state of love. We're going to release the anger, and we're going to release any underlying emotional energy that may be blocking, perhaps sadness, grief. And sadness and grief are the gateway emotions to connection and love. So as we let go of anger, we may discover sadness and grief, perhaps sadness and grief about losing the relationship that we never knew that we had. And as this is let go of, all of a sudden, reconnection happens. Yeah. We start to, the person perhaps that we're angry at, that was angry at ourselves as well, now starts to shift their energy, because they no longer need to be that way because we've let go. So they can shift in response to our inner work. And this is really important to understand, that as we let go of our emotions, our stuck energy, the people outside us will begin to change. And these will not just be the children, but also the ex-partners. So for any man that is going through a really difficult time at the moment, going through a divorce, who's having difficulty seeing their children, if you can make that step to accepting the person completely for who they are, the ex-partner, and even make the choice that say, no matter what, I am going to love them. Yeah. And feel whatever comes up that is contrary to that love, anger, frustration, sadness, grief. As those emotions I let go of, you will find that something amazing will begin to happen. Something that will start to shift the people around you. And for me, this is what happened with my story. When I ended up getting divorced, I found that my ex was quite angry towards me. But I understood that this was happening to help me. I made a choice to love her no matter what. And as I made that choice, yeah, the anger went away, and what appeared was grief, sadness about losing the family, about losing the relationship. And when that was let go of, then the relationship with my ex changed. And that was a beautiful thing. Now she wasn't angry anymore. Now we started to become friends, and now we're really good friends. Yeah. But that happened when I let go. I'm almost 100% positive if I never let go, then there would still be conflict. Does that make sense, Margaret?
Yeah, yes, it does make sense. Now, you said to me, no matter what happened, the missus was still angry, the wife was still angry, but you chose, no matter what happened, that you still going to love her regardless.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
also for me, can you just explain this to the viewers? Because a lot of people may not understand that. This is it. You're stopping me seeing my children. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're saying to me, actually, not seeing my children is kind of teaching me to become a better person. Can you just explain that to us, to
Yeah.
the viewers, please?
This is really important to understand because it's very difficult, very easy to misunderstand this.
Mhm.
What you're saying is just setting the intention for love. Yeah, you're setting the intention to love that person no matter what. As you set the intention, everything that isn't love comes up to be let go of. Everything. Yeah. So anger, frustration. No way am I going to love someone who's doing that. Yeah. You understand that. Yeah. But then when you keep doing it, you keep setting the intention, eventually it will start to dissolve. If you're sincere, if you have strong will, as it dissolves, the true underlying emotions that are hidden by the anger come up. Could be sadness, could be grief, could be shame, could be guilt. A number of things come up. As those are let go of, then the person that was previously antagonistic, making your life difficult, your ex-partner, starts to change their energy also. Yeah. But you need to change that. If you're conscious, if you're listening to these words, then you have to take that step. Yeah. You can't rely on someone else to change. You have to say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. Yeah. And each time I fail, I'm going to give it a go again and again and again. Eventually this will work 100%, because you will be vibrating that state of love. Yeah. And you'll break that disconnection you have. And if you're going through a court case, it may be that your ex-partner suddenly decides to stop it. And suddenly decides to talk and to listen and to say, okay, you know what? Let's talk now. Let's compromise. Yeah. But if you don't let go, that is almost impossible sometimes. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you saying, which is really important, really, the guy who's going out, the husband, the ex-husband, the ex-partner that is going through this journey, having all this anger inside them, is really have to stop, sit back and take control of their own feeling, or recognize their own feeling, what they're going through.
Yeah. To understand that all this is happening to help them let go of this anger, to help them and this may not just have been anger to do with a relationship. It could be from previous relationships, and it may be grief and sadness from previous relationships that they never fully let go of. Now the universe, God, if you want to get a different perspective, is bringing them this to show them, look, this is what you still need to let go of. This is what you're still feeling. I'm bringing you this person to trigger the stuff inside of you so you can let it go. When you do, I'm going to bring you a different experience, because now I no longer need to bring you an angry ex-partner, someone who's bitter and resentful. Now I'm going to bring you someone more loving once you've let go of the what's inside of you. You need to put the, I can't hear you.
Okay. So how would you can you give some kind of suggestion or some steps for anybody who is going through this pain freshly, how they can start, letting go?
Firstly, to stay with whatever feelings appear without blame. Yeah. Not to get stuck in your head, constantly going round in circles, just to stay with whatever feeling arises in the moment and allow yourself to be anger, but with the intention of love. Okay, my intention is love. I'm going to stay within the anger, but I'm not going to attach myself to a narrative that goes against love. I'm not going to get involved in angry thoughts. As soon as they arise, I'm going to drop them, and I'm going to drop them, and I'm going to keep on dropping them. And I'm going to keep on doing this until I discover what's underneath the anger, what's underneath that. Yeah. And it could be grief. And a lot of the times it is sadness. Yeah. And when that comes up and that is felt, again, felt completely, unconditionally, even to the state of not wanting the feeling to change. This process is not really about feeling better. I say this to my clients all the time. It's about getting better at feeling. When you learn to feel your emotions unconditionally, you learn to love yourself unconditionally. When you truly feel what it is within you unconditionally, the anger, and just be with it. Okay, I'm going to be angry. Yeah. And don't try and change it. You're not trying to change it. You're not trying to bring yourself into another state. You're just trying. You stay with that.
Okay, so what you're saying, you got to feel your emotions, and you need to go through that journey that you are going through. Don't step back, don't be shy from it, but go through it, that journey, to be able to heal yourself.
And to drop the story, that's very important, because a lot of times these strong emotions come and then the mind goes into overdrive. Yeah. Emotions create thoughts. Yeah. The suppressed emotions create our unconscious thoughts. And as long as the suppressed emotions are there, we're going to be constantly thinking. But when the thoughts come up, if we say, no, I'm not having any of it, my intention is love. Yeah. And even, just start slowly. It may just be acceptance, but then keep heading towards that goal, and you'll keep releasing these emotions. As you do, the people around you will begin to change, even your children. Yeah. This is how I parent. I parent by working inside. If I ever, if I have say communication with my daughter and I ask her to do something, she's 14 years of age, and she doesn't, or she triggers something in me, I'm like, okay, what do I need to let go of? So I stay with that feeling, and as I let go of it, then now she's more open. Yeah. But as long as I'm stuck in the anger, because everyone senses this at some level, that we're carrying this, which is why we're being brought these people that help us let go of it. And, often the universe or life brings us not what we want, but what we need. Yeah. We may want a harmonious, loving, connected family or relationship or divorce. But life isn't bringing us this, because it's bringing us someone who's resentful and angry and who's making our life difficult, to bring up the very emotions that need to be brought up to live a harmonious, connected, loving life. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. That is absolutely powerful. So really, the whole message is to love, to learn to love, and also to learn to love you yourself as well. And through that love that you are giving to yourself, because it has to start from you. Am I correct?
Yeah, it has to start from you, because ultimately you're never ever dealing with someone else. You're dealing with your emotions, your own emotions about that person. Yeah. So when someone interacts with you, and let's say the ex doesn't return the calls or prevents access to a child, these emotions come up. You're not dealing with a person, you're dealing with your rising emotions in that moment. And unless you learn to love those emotions unconditionally and accept them unconditionally, and it's difficult to learn to love anger and sadness and all of that, I understand that, but it's a gradual process. But unless you learn to love that, then you cannot release that. They'll be stuck within you. So that's why you also have to drop blame, because blame suppresses emotion. Once you blame, then the other person has to change. You don't have to do any work. But when you drop the blame, then you are responsible for feeling those emotions. And it's painful. It's not easy. Sometimes there's a lot of sadness, a lot of anger, guilt, all of confusion, all of that comes up. And when it comes up, but if you have the courage to stay with those feelings unconditionally, meaning even letting go of a want for them to go, then they can start to be processed and integrated. And when they're released, again, the outside world will begin to change.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Wow. That is amazing. It's so powerful out there. So what I want to ask you now, I've taken so much from you, and hopefully all our listeners out there, I mean, single fathers, I mean, Daniel's given so much from us. I hope you've learned so much and you've taken so much from this, how to let go, that anger, and start building the love inside you. Like he says, it starts from you. It starts from us to be able to open that door so that we can become better fathers or better mothers, and to be able to connect with our partners, our ex-partners, and so we can work for the better of our children. That is amazing. Now, for our viewers out there, Daniel, if they want to contact you, what have you got in line? Have you got any program happening? Have you got some groups? How could they contact you? What have you got going?
Well, they can contact me through my website, clearthepath.co.uk, or my email address, danield@clearthepath.co.uk. I'm also on Facebook. So I often run Zoom sessions around letting go, sort of workshops with a group of people as well. So where we do these exercises, and on a one-to-one basis, I do a 12-week course, a 12-week journey, which is a voluntary payment basis. So, after each session, you can volunteer if you've got benefit from that. So, and it also arranges a sliding scale of payment, because some people are like, well, listen, I need to know how much to pay you. So, I do a sliding scale. So depending on, where you are on your journey, financially, for example, you may only be able to afford to pay X amount and someone can afford to pay more. So I cater for that because I want this work to be available for everyone. So that's a 12-week program that I do individually, plus the workshops, Zoom sessions. Yeah.
Are those Zoom sessions and the workshop, are they ongoing right now?
Yeah, I ran the last one, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Just today, I was speaking at a conference, and we done a little letting go exercise there. So as and when I decide to do them, then I get people contacting me saying, "Look, when are you doing the next one?" And then I'll do maybe a couple. But I think I'll probably do the next one. If not this week, maybe the week after that.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure, Margaret.
Thank you. It's been amazing meeting you again, speaking with you, and I really feel what you've shared, a lot of our viewers out there will be able to learn a lot, to learn to let go and learn to love themselves, that everything starts from them. Even for me, I'm going to take some of that for myself as well to use.
I really do hope so. I really do hope so, because this is so powerful work. This is incredibly amazing. When you actually, when you notice what happens outside of you when you let go, it's wonderful.
Thank you so much again. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Margaret.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Margaret Thorli, an award-winning business startup trainer, business coach and career mentor. She is the CEO of H&R Training Professionals Empowerment Speaker Confidence Build, an extraordinary trainer who has trained 1,500 lone parents and women to become entrepreneurs. She is an author, Single Mother and the Dating Game, Tips on how to maneuver the dating minefield, 8 tips to a better relationship, ideas on how to have a great and loving relationship, Elephants in My Stomach, feeling the fear, wanting to flee, Stop Undermining Me, I'm Not Stupid, I'm Just Dyslexic, championing the voice and worth of single mothers and fathers.